Welcome to episode 15 of Comicbook Nation, the official podcast of Comicbook.com. I'm your host, Kofi Outlaw, and with me today, again, my co-host. Feel like I can't get rid of you, Matt Mueller.
You don't have to sound so disappointed.
Well, they don't know what happens behind the scenes. They just see the before scenes. And back with us again, our own all-day cowboy, not even midnight, all-day cowboy from the road, Brandon Davis, still riding with us here this week.
Hey, guys. What an intro.
Right?
I mean,
I'll take it over Matt.
I call you all-day cowboy because you are like in the streets worldwide for us. Like
it's better. It's better than I can't shake you like a fungus.
Yeah.
Like he
Did
said
you just
about
compare me to Pitbull?
No, I think I compared you to Midnight Cowboy, but we'll let
Mr.
that
Worldwide.
Yeah,
Mr. 205.
Mr. in the streets with the heat, Brandon Davis. Yeah, it's good to have you back. It's good to have you back.
You want, Matt.
So today, now with that nice thing that shows we're all friends and all good and tight on this show working together, we're going to be talking about some fun stuff today. We have the Disney Fox deal, which is about to be completed, and by the time you hear in this, good Lord willing, it will have all the dots will have been dotted, all the T's will have been crossed, and that deal will be done. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We are also going to talk about the official title for Terminator 6 and what it means for the franchise, and are we actually going to get a good installment out of this? So we're going to discuss all of that.
Swerve.
We're going to get a little deep with the new Toy Story 4 trailer that has dropped, and we are going to talk about James Gunn's triumphant return to the MCU.
Yeah.
All that next on Comic Book Nation. If you want to subscribe and ride with us in general, you can always find new episodes on the site every Wednesday, every Friday. We also have an RSS feed you can subscribe to. You can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can always contact us and continue the discussion at the hashtag Comic Book Nation. And if you leave a good review, we will be reading reviews consistently throughout the show and sending our loyalist fans something nice, a Comicbook.com t-shirt. So leave us a great review. We appreciate it. Thanks. So let's get to it. And let's talk about the Disney Fox deal first. This has been a long time coming since it's been announced. We've all been freaking out about this, and we've written 1,000,004 articles, which is about to become 2 million in the course of the next 7 days, probably, because this deal's about to be done. Like, Disney and Fox put out this announcement that it's going to be done as of Wednesday, March, whatever date this is. I've lost track of time, but yeah, it's going to be signed, and this is going to be official. Disney will acquire the assets of 20th Century Fox, which is there's a lot more to this deal, but that's the point that we care about, right? That 20th Century Fox will now fall under Disney, all its movie properties. For us in the geek culture community, this is a big deal on the Star Wars front. This is a big deal on the Marvel Cinematic Universe front with the XMen properties and Fantastic Four finally coming home. So I'm not going to get too deep into this because we got to make sure all of this actually goes into place. But how are you guys feeling about this? Are you excited? And what are you most excited to see? For me, I'm excited to see Kevin Feige finally be able to kind of start to bubble and get excited about plans he has, because the man has plans. He's got plans on plans on plans, and probably alternate universe and, in case I'm not here plans on top of those plans. So I'm excited to hear when slowly but surely getting teases of something official with this, this big introduction we know is coming. And I'm just excited for not just Feige, but everybody in general at Marvel to begin to at least speculate or fantasize and discuss and do all that stuff. Because, that's going to be the fun part for me, is the discussions of the what-ifs before we get to the casting arguments and all that stuff.
Mine's easy. It's X-Men all the way. I've been called a downer on the X-Men movies, slightly negative.
Not to be confused with realistic.
Yeah, maybe, right. So I've been called a negative Nancy when it comes to the X-Men movies. I like some of them. I just tend to be a little bit more, because I'm a big X-Men fan, and you see the potential there, and then you look over here, and Marvel's just been like, look at what we did. Look at all this patience. Look at this long-term planning. And then Fox is like, well, let's shoehorn it all in, and let's redo this one storyline multiple times. I'm just excited to see Marvel's brand of patience and seed storytelling be applied to one of my favorite groups. And I cannot wait. That's my biggest thing. The Fantastic Four and some of the other stuff is great, but I'm all about the X-Men.
BD.
I'm here for Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph interacting with predators.
That's oddly specific, but oddly really fun at the same time.
No,
I'll pay to see that.
Yeah, I would pay to see that.
Think about all the possibilities with Wreck-It Ralph 3 now.
Oh man.
But no, I mean, Doctor Doom. Like, who's going to be the next big bad after Thanos? It could be Doctor Doom now. Silver Surfer could be involved. I mean, I'm really excited for a good Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Galactus. I'm just like wondering, does Marvel Studios, does Disney squander the opportunity to tease a setup at the end of Endgame? Because it's the biggest stage they're ever going to have. It's tying everything of these 11 years into a nice little bow. So do they take that stage, this huge, monumental, momentous moment in their MCU history, to then introduce Tony Stark to Professor X in a post-credit scene, just like we introduced Tony Stark to Nick Fury in the Iron Man post-credit scene that launched the larger universe? Do we say, well, guess what? The universe is even larger now.
But here's the thing: who is Xavier in your dream scenario?
A new actor, a brand new actor.
Okay, so that's that. Whoever they cast for Xavier in the future,
You don't even have
is
to show
already
him.
here.
Do what you did with Thanos the first time around. Just have a bald guy in a wheelchair. We'll all know. We'll all know.
Yeah, voiceover. I mean, it is. I mean, that's the thing. Now, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head, and we're going to move on past this because we're going to be talking about this a lot next week.
Yeah.
So basically, that's the nail on the head to think about is the timing, right? This is getting done before Endgame. We have time. We know how Marvel will roll out actors behind the premiere to shoot something that they're going to throw into the movie like in a couple days because when they want to keep that level of secrecy.
But I don't necessarily want that if it's going to be shoehorned or
I don't think it'll
sped
be
up.
shoehorned.
It wouldn't be shoehorned. They would have had the planning. It would just depend on if the deal got done.
They've shot post-credit scenes
Yeah.
after a movie premiered.
I know, but this is not just your simple post-credit sequence.
But
This
it
is
can be.
setting up
Like BB
years
said, all
of
you
stuff.
need is a ball guy, a wheelchair, a room, and Nick Fury.
Let's
Like,
not act like Kevin Feige hasn't been thinking about
Yeah.
this.
Well,
Just
yes.
because every time we talk to him and we ask about this, he gives a political,
Yeah.
I'll think about that when I can answer. Come on, behind
Like I
closed
said.
doors, the dude is thinking about it.
Like,
he
he has
has plans for this.
But as
They've known
fans-
it's coming for a year now.
But
But as fans,
okay.
we can be unrealistic as to
I know
what
we
is
can be,
doable.
but it's just a question to think about. The timing makes it possible now. So will they?
There's so much time.
Yeah.
Like
To us, yes, but to people who actually do this for a living, no.
Oh, but they've
there's
had
not
it,
that
but
much
they've-
time.
For a living, they've known Disney's going to buy Fox for what, at least a year now?
yes,
Yeah.
So, I mean, and who knows what the conversations were behind closed doors before that even got out. Kevin Feige knows this is coming. He's had
and
plenty
that's
of
all
time
fine.
to think about it.
That's all fine
This
until
isn't just-
money's
I don't
involved.
understand what you're. Wait, hold on,
until
let's-
money's involved, and like
I don't
that's
understand
all
what you're
fine.
arguing
even
for.
need an
Do you
actor. You
do
can
you
just-
not
all you
want?
have-
Wait, let me ask you. Do you not want this?
Bring
I'm
one of your
I'm
Avengers
okay.
in for a half a day shoot.
I
to-
just got
to
on
this
here and
post-credit
talked
scene.
about patience. So why the hell would I then go, but I need it now, tap my vein? No, take your damn time.
Let's take. Okay, we're gonna take this out to the
Take your
fans.
time.
This is getting heated.
I had
We're
to
gonna take
catch
it out to the
myself.
fans.
I had to catch myself. I
And we're
did
gonna
a
take this
really
out to the
good
fans. Comic Book Nation. Do you want Avengers Endgame to have an X-Men tease or button
It's
tease?
coming.
I mean, I agree. I don't want it to feel rough.
I think this is
but
going to be an article on the site. I think everybody needs to address this question. But
Matt
we're going
Mueller's
to
going
move
to write
on.
why Avengers Endgame
This is
shouldn't
tearing
have
us
an X-Men
apart.
team.
We're gonna lose a whole show to this question. Let us know what you think. Hashtag Comic Book Nation.
The Hulk's going to have a
Moving on.
weapon in Endgame if his new toy is any indication.
Talking about one universe to
just
talking
found
about the
out.
possibilities of another. What was that?
Breaking news over here.
The Hulk is going to have a new toy in Endgame if his new action figure that hasn't been revealed yet is any indication. I just got a text that says that.
Oh boy. Well, there you go. So that's some
cool.
breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news.
So, let's talk about, we're going from one universe to another. We're talking about possibilities, and we're talking about the DCEU now because there's been a major shakeup at Warner Brothers. The CEO, Kevin Sugihara, had to step down amidst a major scandal, which we're not going to get too deep in. I have a whole other file about this scandal and how crazy it is. But, I mean, this was a controversial figure. Why we're bringing this up is Sugihara is kind of a controversial figure, both in kind of the early missteps of the DCEU, which he was kind of cited as being responsible for. I don't know if you remember, but we were all here when that angry fan wrote that open letter to him, basically like slamming him. I think it was around the time of it was around before Wonder Woman came out. And it was like this angry supposed Warner Brothers staffer like wrote this open letter and just put it out there online, and it blew up. I remember because I was researching
I
it.
remember that.
And and just slamming him and slamming the executives for screwing up the DCEU and Batman v Superman and all that stuff. And this naysayer said Wonder Woman was already going to track to suck, so we already know that was wrong. But so this guy's been a controversial figure, but now he's gone in. He was kind of responsible for trying to also spearhead this turnaround that was happening. And the basic thing I have for you guys is, like, what happens now? Do you think there's enough plans already in place for the DCEU? Because it had started to turn around, right? Like, Justice League was a complete cluster, but Wonder Woman did it. Aquaman's $1 billion. Shazam's looking nice. Joker's going to be really interesting. You have Birds of Prey, which is kind of getting a lot of, generating a nice buzz already.
And then
Suicide Squad, and Wonder Woman 1984. Highly anticipated. The Suicide Squad just jumped to the top of the list because of something we're going to talk about later, which is James Gunn and Idris Elba stepping in for Will Smith in this crazy storyline and this probably like hard R thing we're going to get. And do you think there's enough in place there to just kind of keep rolling through this transition, or is this going to be another? Because Warner Brothers is plagued by this, right? I mean, that's like the story behind the story of Warner Brothers is too much executive infighting, like too many switcheroos, changes in kind of leadership or creative leadership, and then we have to go back to the drawing board, do things over, or things get muddled, and like it just becomes a mess.
I don't think DC movies will really be affected by this. I don't think we have reason to. I think they finally have their footing. We have Aquaman and Wonder Woman were successful. I love Shazam. I've been very open about that. I think you guys are getting annoyed hearing how much I like the movie, but I think that like they have these movies already. I mean, Wonder Woman 84 already has to be shot, at least entirely. Birds of Prey is deep into production. Joker is wrapped, and I really think they're going to continue with the plans they have now. And I think somebody like Peter Safran, who worked on both Aquaman and Shazam as a producer, and he's got other movies already lined up. I could see him. I think this might just be a weird prediction, but I could see him kind of stepping into a Feige role within the DC world because they're pushing him out into interviews, which is interesting. They have a producer doing on-camera interviews for Shazam, which I thought was kind of interesting. But he's also kind of overseeing so much of that expansion of these universes within the universe. We're clearly focusing on Atlantis with Aquaman, and the Aquaman sequel is going to go back there, and it probably won't include characters from the grander DC world. The Shazam sequel the Shazam movie doesn't include Black Adam because they wanted to make a Shazam movie. Then they want to make a Black Adam movie. And eventually, probably not in the second one, maybe in the third one, they want to have Shazam and Black Adam fight each other. And it seems like Safran is behind those little pocket universes, and maybe eventually he's going to be the one to connect them all. And I think the DC movies have their trajectory and their slate laid out, and I don't think it's going to be affected by this. I mean, the Warner Brothers as a company, sure, is obviously going to have some effects, but I don't think we'll feel it in terms of the products that we consume.
And I'll say that hits the nail on the head for me. Like, I think it should move out of more the executive level and into something like a Feige, who just kind of manages that, like you said, pocket universe. I think that's something that's been missing there. There's just too much of a wide expanse between executives and directors and creators, and it just keeps...
monkey with symbols.
Yeah, I'm just trying not to say everything that flashed through my head was an expletive, but I was just trying to say, they just keep butting heads and breaking. So I hope it does what you say it does. Unless you got anything great to offer, we can move on.
No, I think that pretty much.
All right, BD sums it up. And if there's somebody who knows about WB and what it's this guy, he's hosting Aquaman premieres and whatnot. Like,
that's his full name.
Yeah, I could see you moving up into the lead creative role. Is that what happens next?
Oh, man.
Don't forget your buddies here podcast.
That's
at
too much
Comic Book
pressure.
Nation.
That's way too much pressure for me.
All right, moving right along. Let's talk about Terminator. We haven't really talked about Terminator that much or those kinds of old franchises, but they're still trying to kick. We got a new RoboCop coming. But Terminator's trying to make another soft reboot. And this is funny because I just saw Genesis again for the first time in a long time, and my God.
Why did you do that to yourself?
Because I also watched Salvation, which is a great pilot episode of a TV, but not so much as a big budget movie. But Genesis. So this is another soft reboot. And today we learned that the title is going to be, it's been confirmed to be Terminator Dark Fate. This is being made by Deadpool's Tim Miller, and James Cameron came on as a producer and is helping kind of guide this one directly. Arnold Schwarzenegger's back. Linda Hamilton's back. We have a bunch of new people who are joining the franchise, like Gabriel Luna, Marvel's new Ghost Rider, who's going to be playing the new Terminator, which is kind of cool.
Guy.
And Mackenzie Davis, or I think her name is Mackenzie Davis, from what was that thing? What was that?
The film with the title?
Yeah, no, it was from the show about the computers. Halt and Catch Fire. She's gonna be.
Did you really say the show about the computer?
Yeah, it was about inventing computers.
That narrows it down.
Oh, there were only like 2 shows about inventing like modern computers. And
Yeah.
Halt and Catch Fire is one of them. But anyway, so this is looking like it could be a more legit kind of soft reboot, and I'm kind of intrigued by the title because obviously the words "no fate" are a big deal in the Terminator franchise. In Terminator 1 and 2, no fate was kind of the thematic. It was both a theme and it was a saying that like the Resistance or Kyle Reese and John Connor and Sarah Connor used to kind of motivate them to go back and do these harrowing things to change the timeline. And the whole theory, and especially in T2, got into it about, no fate but what we make was the whole idea. So that's why Sarah Connor goes kind of crazy and is trying to like kill Miles Dyson, and why they battle and to destroy the Terminator and stop Judgment Day, because there's this idea that fate is whatever you make. This sounds literally and figuratively darker. It's just like Terminator Dark Fate. It's just kind of, I was like, well, what could that mean? I mean, this one it's kind of a real-time sequel. Arnold
So I was going to
Schwarzenegger's
ask so is this, Genesis didn't happen?
There's no Genesis.
Okay.
There's T1, there's T2, there's this.
Okay, gotcha.
They're doing the Halloween thing, like they're doing that whole thing. So Linda Hamilton's back as a real-time age Sarah Connor. Okay. Arnold Schwarzenegger is this aged Terminator. We don't know anything else. But this sounds kind of ominous because it's
Terminator.
Again, further aged than I don't know what he is. We actually don't know for sure that he is a Terminator in this one. We don't know that for sure. I'm just kind of saying that.
I mean, I'm on board because Miller's in it. Right? Miller's involved. You have my attention. I've never been a huge Terminator person. I like them.
Killer robots, not your thing.
It's fine. Their movies are fine. But I don't love them. I don't have that extra appreciation for. But I still like them.
Yeah.
But this has my attention for that. And that title suggests.
Well, the thing is, I just been bugging me out because it suggests this is a much more, and I can see James Cameron doing something like this, a much more cynical take, which is nah, there is no fate what we make anymore. We are screwed. We are screwed. No matter how many times you try to prevent this, we've assured our own destruction.
I just hope they do something innovative with it. Just make it a different movie than the previous films. But also good, just James Cameron, man. If anybody knows how to make innovative films, it's James Cameron.
Yeah, but he knows how to make it innovative and spectacle while keeping it, as I think we all learned from every story he's ever told, very traditional and grounded in storytelling.
Alita.
Alita, but I'm talking about Avatar.
Yeah, that's what I'm picturing. Is Avatar?
He's also
Titanic.
busy on Avatar.
Yeah, I know.
And only
but if he has never lent his name to anything past Terminator 2 in this franchise, so it is significant that he did for this one.
Okay.
I hope it's good. I agree with Matt on everything. I don't really care that much, but with Tim Miller, it's cool.
Wow. I see how this is going to play with the masses. Well, as a real Terminator head, I'm just going to keep it moving now. If you guys want to talk Dark Fate at Kofi Outlaw, we can talk. I don't know what's going on with these guys. All right, stay tuned. Because when we come back, we're going to deep dive into the new Toy Story 4 trailer. And we're going to talk about James Gunn getting his walk of triumph back into the MCU. All right, so Toy Story 4. This is a movie. There are toys in it.
Speaking of
I've been really clear from the beginning that this is not my thing. I'm not a Pixar hater. I love Pixar, but I have never really connected to Toy Story.
Yeah.
It's just never been my thing.
I'm going to let Matt speak here on this one, but I just wanted to say I didn't care really at all. I think we talked about this on one of our earliest podcasts, but then the new trailer, I really got really
okay,
upset.
but see, I want to hear that because from our last discussion, right? People know that I appreciate them and I have a enjoyment of these movies. But I'm more curious because last time we talked, you were not on board, you didn't care less. So what turned it around in this trailer?
I just thought it has everything you expect in a Pixar, Disney, that the heart, the gut punch, and it seems like it's going to have all of that. But like, it just seemed refreshing. Like the fork concept. I was watching it, and I was sitting there thinking, who in the hell thought up a fork gets a mouth and eyes, and all of a sudden it's a toy, and then that's how. Who paid? Where do you find these people? And what's in the water? What are they? What are they? Wow. But I just thought it was really interesting, and seeing Woody seeming kind of lost, and just like he's on a mission, but he doesn't know what to do, and he's got to discover. It's a mission of self-discovery for him in a lot of ways, and it just seems like finally a really fresh Toy Story movie, and I thought it looked like a lot of fun, but also a very emotional film. I thought it looked good. I loved the trailer.
Yeah. I came away with the same thing. Like Forky, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
Who is literally a spork that the young girl puts googly eyes on, and he's now a toy, and he cannot seem to comprehend his new place in the world, because there's a line here I love where he talks about like, I'm made for soup and like light, and he goes on this whole thing, and he's like, I'm not made for this, I can't cope, and he leaves, right? And that's such a like heavy concept put into this very digestible.
So is this
thing.
Now a Toy Story Sausage Party crossover then?
Oh God!
If we're talking about this thing is made for eating food and that object's coming to life,
please God,
you
no,
are going to get us letters
so
from
much.
all the Disney fans.
I hated that movie so much.
Exactly. Here it goes. Here we go.
You didn't like Sausage Party?
No, it was terrible. God, I will never get.
It was the Toy Story of food movies.
If Toy Story were completely stupid, yes.
I feel like you just sold Sausage Party to like 4-year-olds, and like they're going to be horribly scarred.
No, don't let your kids watch Sausage Party.
Yeah, you didn't add that part. You were like, it's the Toy Story of food movies
for
like,
adults.
You're leaving out a little bit.
Dude, I've met 5-year-olds who watch The Walking Dead. Nothing's off limits anymore.
That's not a good thing.
No,
that's not something we should praise.
And the last episode showed us what happens to those kids, right? Like,
oh, R.I.P.
Oh,
The Walking Dead.
Wow.
Killing
you know what?
Sorry, I derailed us. Toy Story.
So yeah. Anyway, I do. This is not like Sausage Party, kids, and you can go see this movie.
I mean, conceptually,
but there's a lot of heart. Also, I was one of the things I think will surprise in this is that Bo Peep has been missing since like the last movie, right? So there's this chunk of time where now we're getting to see like what she's been up to, and the fact that she's coping with life way better than Woody is, and like that seems to be the tether. Most of the Toy Story movies have been the tether between Woody and Buzz, or Woody and the child, right? And in here, whether it be Andy or Bonnie, and in here, it's really between them and like seeing this world. He's kind of been living in this closed off existence, kind of. She opens his eyes to all these things. So there's just a lot of really cool concepts, and there's going to be a ton of heart. There's going to be those moments like in every Toy Story movie where you will just be a puddle and a mess. You can already see those things. Key and Peele's characters look hilarious. I mean, they're only shown a snippet here, but you see other spots with them.
Yeah,
it looks really fun. Like it looks really good. So I can see though, if you're not a Toy Story fan, or if you've never really enjoyed these movies, I don't think this is going to win you over. Like I don't think this is going to be the movie to do that.
I consider myself a casual Toy Story fan.
Okay, yes.
I don't have a Toy Story T-shirt to put it in perspective, but I thought the trailer was great.
Those I could see winning over fans like you.
Yeah.
You just doesn't appreciate it. I don't think it will.
I mean, I hate to be that guy.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't think.
Do you?
I don't enjoy it. I accept my role in this universe, but I don't enjoy it. I mean, it doesn't bring me any great joy. I like other things. But
like what?
Like what? Like hating?
Sitting out in the sun with my family, just enjoying nature, things like that. Wow. Nice things. But
wow, this is where
I mean, unless I still don't care. I mean, I see it. I still don't care. I think these movies are getting detached. I think it's weird that they're just becoming kind of these insular stories about these toys who just hang out with each other.
So is Toy Story the Fast and Furious franchise of Pixar movies?
No.
You just went on about Terminator.
No, I know. Terminator's awesome.
Do you think we'll eventually get
That brings up a good point. Until Toy Story 5 is showing me these toys in a life or death battle with like smart toys that are trying to like devour them in their place in the house, there's nothing real about
Toy Story 5 Dark
What would
Fate.
be the best Toy Story crossover with any other franchise?
Oh, franchise?
Yeah. other characters interacting with
Real
all of the
sex?
toys.
I don't know. Like,
What?
Real sex
Why are you
toys.
the way you are? To quote Michael Scott.
I can't even touch that. I can't even
I
touch
mean,
that.
if you want to expand the Toy Story universe,
No,
do all
just-
toys come to life?
just
You know what I
stop.
mean?
Expanding a few things.
No, just stop.
Yeah, it's some out. I'm done.
All right.
You just got
So,
We
what's
just
up?
got James Gunn, all three of us.
Yeah.
No, I was
Welcome.
not a party to that.
Welcome to the dark fate we spoke of. Here we go.
Wow.
So you asked me, hey man, if you ask me a hypothetical, I got answers for you. I don't know. Did I enjoy that? Yes, I did. So moving
Wow.
right along past Toy Story and all related
uncomfortable.
franchises and spin-offs, let's talk about something we can all agree on. Let's applaud James Gunn for his triumphant return to the MCU, and I'm going to applaud that man because James Gunn got fired for the MCU for some old tweets where he said some, not so agreeable things, I would say, or try to defend, but they were just old tweets, and a lot of them were jokes. And it brought us to this kind of interesting cultural inflection point about, like, how should old tweets and things you said, like, even in jest, affect your job or not? And a lot of people, I mean, safe to say, a lot of people were not on board with this decision by Disney to can him from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. They didn't like it. They weren't all about it. And there's been petitions. His co-stars, I mean, Dave Bautista, I think, has torn up several residences just trying to get James Gunn back into his job. I mean, yeah, it's been a big deal. And then we didn't hear anything for a little bit. We all thought like maybe Guardians was done. They were going to use a script, and then it was even more stupid because it was like, why are you using everything about James Gunn except James Gunn physically there? And then we heard this move that DC was stealing Marvel's toys and getting James Gunn to make the Suicide Squad sequel, which is called The Suicide Squad. And everybody was just like, things that make you go, And yeah, we were all just kind of really interested in that one. We were like, wow, didn't see that coming. Sounds really interesting. And now we find out that, like, yeah, he's coming back. He's doing Guardians 3. He's still doing Suicide Squad and just going to take his time, get that done, then make Guardians 3. And the more interesting part for me that I reported was that, like, yeah, he was never fully out the door, ever. According to, there's conflicting levels to these reports from, various sources, but it's clear that, as soon as they announced his firing, there was a short period of time before they met him on the side, worked something out, and we're going to kind of keep him around and bring him back. And so this was all just kind of like a non-issue. And I'm sure Disney, as companies always want to pat themselves on the back and said, yes, we made the power move. We did the right thing. Like, blah, blah, blah. Nah. Like, I wanted to just throw DJ Khaled gifts all over the place. You played yourself, right? Like, don't be maybe so quick to make those announcements. Maybe have some more internal meetings.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm not mad. This was the biggest news to come out of Comic-Con last year, and it wasn't even at Comic-Con.
No,
So
that was
at least
crazy,
we had
right?
people on our website.
Yeah, I was here for that. That was nuts. Like, it was nuts. But
Disney
like,
comes out of this looking.
But yeah,
terrible.
but they're never going to say that. They're just going to power through. Like, we made another great executive decision, and it's like, nah, man, you played yourself like that.
I don't know that Disney looks terrible.
They don't look terrible. They
Yeah,
can
they
account
do.
as
How do
Jim
they
points
not?
as Jim points out all the time. They're just going to wipe their eyes, their tears away with their piles of money. But like,
I get that, but they look terrible.
Yeah,
they made a
how-
quick, rash decision, and then
Yeah, but that's
they
the
didn't
culture
even
right
have
now.
the spine to stick by it. Then they do it all behind the scenes, and now they come out and say, "Well, we double." Like they're trying to have the cake and eat it too. No, you grow a spine.
I mean, I
like
think
either
that's-
stick with one or
that's
don't. Make
literally
it.
we can't. We can't do
everything
anything
right
to
now.
a mega corporation.
Yeah,
It's not
I mean,
like
I'm
we
just-
can punch them in the knee or something.
That's
But like,
fine.
you deserve a DJ Khaled gift.
Yeah,
Like,
but I'm
you
sorry,
played
no,
yourself.
That's
they come
what
out as looking-
everything does right now. I mean, that's
Doesn't make it right.
I'm glad. I'm just happy they rehired him because it's setting a precedent that, yeah, while we have this zero tolerance stuff in terms of jokes and harassment and all these things, that old things that are words versus actions, which people have shown growth from, aren't going to be deciding hardworking and talented people's careers. Like Kevin Hart getting fired
love
from the
that.
Oscars. No, well, Warner Brothers, I think, gets the credit for setting the precedent more than Disney does, because Warner Brothers was like, we'll take you back. I think AMC did it before them in terms of Chris Hardwick getting suspended, doing an investigation, and bringing him back on. And I think that's the first time we saw one of these things get undone.
That's true. Yes, it is.
And then that's a different thing, where if what he did was true, you wouldn't rehire him. If his accusations of sexual harassment and things turned out there's no place for that. You can never have somebody who's done that, I think, work in your company. You can't employ that person. But if he just used words a decade ago and has shown that he doesn't think those things are funny, and he kind of, at a time when those jokes were widely accepted, then it's different.
Yeah.
That's what happened to James Gunn. He used words, not actions. He never had any indication of acting as a pedophile. He made a joke about pedophilia, which, yes, I know, I have to say, I condemn the jokes. If I don't say that, maybe I get James Gunn next. But then Disney goes and rehires him, which is a good look because it shows that
They shouldn't have fired him in the first place. That's the point.
Yeah.
Why did they make such a rash decision? Do your job. You're a giant company. You have people
because
to
all of
discuss
these companies
this.
are catering to the percent.
So be
the small
different. How is that?
So give the credit to Warner Brothers on doing it. I just don't think you can say they look terrible for doing it. I think they were doing what they had no choice but to do because
if
they had a choice.
How do you have a choice? They're Disney. It's a family company.
I'm not saying they look terrible doing it.
I do.
I'm saying DJ Khaled GIF, you played yourself. And don't try to sell me.
That's the difference in what they did at AMC.
Here, let me just be clear. What I don't like is companies in this BS thing they do that every decision they make is a power move. With a bunch of dudes slapped back in and being like, that's a good decision, sir. You did it. Yes, you did it impeccably. And it's like, no, you screwed up and did not know what you were doing. You showed weakness, indecision, back and forth, which is the one thing you're not supposed to do in big business, is be confident. So I'm just putting it on the record. I don't want to hear anybody try to spin this into Disney makes another successful Disney decision. You played yourself.
Oh, no, I don't think this was a successful. I think the difference here in what AMC did and what Disney did is AMC didn't fire Chris Hardwick.
No, they
suspended him and investigated him.
Yes.
And that was just weeks before this happened. That happened just before Comic-Con last summer.
Yeah.
And then Disney comes, fires James Gunn. I mean, the day those tweets started circulating again. And I was sort of thinking, man, why didn't they just suspend him? And they're never going to go back on that. So yeah, they played themselves because they ended up rehiring him. But I'm glad they did in the end because it sets a precedent.
Me too.
I'm glad. Yeah.
This had to happen at some point because Kevin Hart, Chris Hardwick, James Gunn, all these different, Aziz Ansari, all these different things, and then but you have the cases where these things turn out to be true, and they happen to Roseanne and Harvey Weinstein. There's no room for there's different things that are happening, and if they're happening now, especially, they're unacceptable. They happened in the past. Words versus actions is a conversation you have to have.
No, I mean, you don't have to tell me. I'm a 90s kid, and I don't know how you kids do it today. I thank God none of my stuff was digitized from when I was a teenager going into my early 20s.
I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say what
those are the only text messages I say to my friends, and even those I scrub from my phone immediately after. Thank God all that stuff we did was never, digitized.
Right. Yeah.
Scrub that message right from my phone, Yeah, I mean, it is
I
such
follow
a wild
sports.
west.
I see the stupid things these college kids put on social media now.
Yeah, it's a wild
That could
west
come
out
back.
here still. We're still trying to figure out what to do about all this social media stuff. I for one am happy about the precedent that's been set by James Gunn. Because James Gunn has come out of this looking like roses. He stepped back from Twitter for a while. I mean, that's a nice little vacation. He is now getting more money than he would have been getting from both franchises. And I just think...
We get both movies.
Yeah, and I think that's a pimp move for him and a good look for fans because we're going to get a good Suicide Squad movie out of this, I think. And we're going to get the Guardians we know and love. So I'm happy for him. And
I'm just not looking forward to that press tour. You know he's going to get asked about this.
Yeah,
that's the only
be
thing he's going to get asked about.
But he's enough of a a power player now. He can maybe just drop out of the press tour and be like,
no,
you know what? I'll do select in my room for my select friends.
But that's the thing is, I want to hear from James Gunn.
Yeah,
I want to hear what he has to say about the movies he makes. And if he drops out, that sucks. Because outlets are going to ask about this. That's not something I would go. If I have 5 minutes with James Gunn, I'm not wasting 1 second.
You're
of that
assuming
talking
we
about
would
any
be
of
left
this.
out. I mean, we could still go to the private suite for a conversation. We're comicbook.com. I don't know.
They know we're not going to talk about that. But
we're not. Yeah,
sure.
I'm not worried about us.
But if he pulls that all together, that would suck.
I don't mean those other people.
We should be the only ones to interview James Gunn.
Yeah. Hey,
that's what
James Gunn private suite. We'll just have a good conversation about the fun stuff.
About the Sausage
come on,
Party,
Comic Book
Toy
Nation.
Story crossover.
This is a safe space. Anybody who wants to come on Comic Book Nation, it's a safe space here. You guys can come and hang out, and we'll have a great conversation.
All right. Well, I hope we have James Gunn in our studio very soon.
I mean, Skype. We'll take Skype, man. We're futuristic. We got technology.
That's true.
You don't have to come down here to our unknown location in Nashville, which we'll slowly kind of start revealing because it is a fun little thing about our location and all the absurdity that goes along with.
Where are we?
Yeah, I mean, when you figure it out, I mean, it is a pretty absurd location, but that's more origin story stuff. All right, so that'll take us out of our discussion today. We are, as always, again, posting new episodes every Wednesday, every Friday. You can also subscribe on our RSS feed, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio. If you want to continue any of the conversation from today or any episode, you can always hit us up on Twitter at the hashtag ComicBook Nation, or you can kind of talk to us individually. You can reach me at Kofi Outlaw.
You can reach me at Matt Mueller CB.
You hit me up at Brandon Davis BD.
And since we have some time, yeah, I mean, I didn't think we were going to have time today. I thought we had like an overpacked show, but apparently we all don't like Terminator and or Toy Story together. So now we have more time.
That's what makes
the show
Kofi.
I know. So I thought like maybe we should go through and like pull up a review and maybe read it. If I can pull this up, if the internet does what it's supposed to do and all that good stuff, we'll pull up a little review and read something.
Me and Brandon like Toy Story.
Oh my god.
Good trailer.
This
That's
is
a good
so
trailer.
hard.
It's a solid trailer.
Not as good as the Avengers Endgame trailer.
No, we're just going to probably cut this piece. No, wait. Here we go. I think I got it.
Like, do I want to wade into that territory?
All right. Here's one, and I'm gonna read this one because of the name, LeBeau. Like a shout out to Gambit, except this isn't Remy, this is his brother Greg LeBeau. Gave us a 5-star review and said, "This is my favorite nerd podcast and top 10 favorite podcast ever. This podcast is exactly what I needed. You guys make it easy to digest and fun to listen to and funny. Thanks for everything."
Aww.
Was this review helpful? Yes. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Another
It's
one
in
by
real time.
JM Stats says, "Pioneering fandom. It's what I've been waiting for. A well-produced fandom podcast that touches on all mediums and outlets, breaking down the biggest topics in all things geek. This is a new go-to for an insider glimpse and analysis of the subjects that I love. Was this review helpful? Yes."
That review gets
That's
a
a great
parka.
review. I
That's
like
a good
that guy.
review.
Yeah. Pioneering fandom. I like the word pioneering
I think
thrown
that should
in.
be our slogan.
Yeah.
Is that
Pioneering
like
fandom.
Comicbook
Yeah,
Nation.
Pioneering fandom. Yeah. JM Stats, you might have started something. We got to make sure to get your t-shirt out.
No
if
royalties.
you hear your
No
review
royalties.
read, please hit us
Producer Jim
up
Viscardi
on
says no
Twitter.
royalties.
Yeah, no royalties. Producer Jim Viscardi.
We got time for one more.
Yeah, we got time for one more? Oh, okay. All right. Okay, here's this one. Great Catch-All by Danner Bo Banner. Love that the team talks about everything need culture. I find myself even listening to the segments that aren't normally in my wheelhouse. Yes, great chemistry between the team. Keep it up. Was this review helpful? Very much so, yeah. I mean, that's a good review. I like that one, and I'm glad you made me read that because getting you guys to listen to things you don't normally listen to and get out of the bubble and maybe discover something, that's a big dream of mine. I don't know why. I care.
I never get to hear this like aspirational.
I know.
stuff.
We
We found what
Nice.
makes Kofi happy besides Toy Story.
Yeah, and
Hating Toy
sunshine
Story.
in the lawn or whatever the hell that was.
Sitting with my family in the lawn in the sunshine?
He likes
That was that thing.
nothing gets Kofi going quite like the itch of fresh fertilizer.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's going to do it for us. We may or may not be back with Brandon Davis again next episode. This is Comic Book Nation. Thank you guys for listening and all the kind reviews. We'll catch you next time.